Hello everyone, my name is Crystal Newby and I am the Assistant Director of Education and Training here at NACAC, and I am thrilled to be joined today with our special guest Eric Waldo, who is the Executive Director of former First Lady Michelle Obama's Reach Higher initiative, which is housed at Civic Nation. So we are thrilled to have him here today to talk about National College Signing Day, the Reach Higher initiative, as well as the Better Make Room campaign. So Eric, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Crystal.
So let's talk about College Signing Day, because we know it's coming up next Friday, May 5th, as the National College Signing Day. So can you tell us a little bit more about what it is, how it started, and what its goals are?
Great. Thank you so much, Crystal. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate all of you online who are watching. If you're watching this later, thank you for taking the time to learn more about College Signing Day and Michelle Obama's work. Well, really, the history of College Signing Day is pretty simple. You may be more familiar with the Sports Signing Day in January of every year. High school seniors who are going to play, college football, college baseball, college basketball, they have a ceremony where they're told, I'm going to go play football at Ohio State. They put on the hat, and it gets a lot of fanfare in the news and the media. And schools around the country thought, you know what, we should be honoring and celebrating students who are going to college, pursuing their academic pursuits, their career pursuits, their passions, the same way that we're celebrating and lifting up athletes. And so, as you know, May 1st is traditionally the deadline by which high school seniors need to let colleges know where they intend to go. So schools around the country, it really started actually as a charter school movement. They began celebrating May 1st as College Signing Day, and they'd host rallies for the students so that all of the students in the community could put on their college gear, could have that moment on the stage or be celebrated. And when Mrs. Obama launched Reach Higher in 2014, she did so at a College Signing Day rally in San Antonio, Texas. And what we did was Mrs. Obama put on her Princeton gear, the whole White House actually dressed down to show their college pride, and she went to San Antonio and celebrated those high school seniors. Because in San Antonio, the entire community actually puts on their college gear. They have a week of events for parents, for elementary school students, for counselors, for the business community to really understand and celebrate that college-going culture, because we should be celebrating our young people who are committing to their education the same way we celebrate athletes and celebrities. That's why Mrs. Obama has continued to celebrate College Signing Day every year since then. And the cool thing is more and more communities have signed up every year. Last year, the first year after we launched, we had 600 signing days. Last year, we had 1,200 in all 50 states. We're on pace this year to beat it.
That's amazing. And I absolutely agree with you that we should celebrate the successes of our students in the classroom and moving on to post-secondary education. And so with that being said, we said that the College Signing Day started in 2014, so now this is the fourth year. Can you share with us some cool stories from years past?
So again, it's been really exciting to see how people get inspired and excited about it. And I'd say there's the fun stories of just saying, hey, we were so thrilled to get so many celebrities in Harlem. So last year, we did our big blowout in New York City at the Harlem Armory. We had 5,000 New York City public school students come out to celebrate with Mrs. Obama. MTV helped us produce the event. They're doing it again this year. But in the star-studded event where we had a bunch of celebrities really coming out and saying thank you to students, we didn't know until the day of that Robert De Niro was going to come and join us. And Robert De Niro actually came out that day. He came out onto the stage for those students, and he read a letter, and he said, there's a lot of checks I don't like writing, but the one I'm always proudest to write is the college tuition check for my kids. And I think it was really fun to hear someone tell their personal story of how paying for college or helping their children go to college has changed their life. I will say for me personally, it's really a moment of pride to see how many people go online on College Signing Day, post a selfie in their college gear with a college mug, you name it, and just talk about their experience, whether they went to Brown, whether they went to Johns Hopkins, and they tell how that helped them get where they are. And what I've found is the fun story is that it's not just the students, it's alums who are proud, and then it starts a conversation, and people say, wow, I didn't realize that you went to Morehouse. I didn't realize that you went to Caltech. And so it creates conversations between students and teachers, between community members, between coworkers. And I think it's important as we build a college-going culture for everyone actually to be able to see, oh yeah, you're a success in your organization today. So when we see that big group NACAC photo and we see where everyone went to college, that is a huge part of the story of why all of you have been able to be so successful. And we want to make sure that young people around the country are seeing and celebrating that.
Absolutely, thank you. So as a follow-up to that, what's happening this year? What's new this year for College Signing Day?
Great question. So this year, we wanted to hear more feedback. Last year, we did a survey to the 1,200 communities that held College Signing Day. And one of the things we heard, especially from the school counseling community, was that, this is one more thing for us to do, and you're asking us to do it, and we're happy to, but we really don't have any money to do it necessarily. If we're not doing a big citywide event that the city or a business is covering, can you help us think about how to do that better? So a couple of things I want to let folks know about. Number one is this year, thanks to the generosity of the College Football Playoff Foundation and Donors Choose, we actually have $100,000 that we're giving out to schools and school counselors and communities to help them put on their college signing days. We're doing them in $500 microgrants. All you have to do is go to bettermakeroom.org, click on our College Signing Day tab, and you can sign up, register your College Signing Day, download our kit, and you can learn how to sign up and register on Donors Choose. Because we want to give you that $500, and you still can. Because if your event hasn't happened yet, if you're still planning it, whether it's in late May or early June, go ahead, go to bettermakeroom.org, sign up, learn how you can get access to this $500. Because the fun thing is, if you're doing it on Donors Choose, we can give you the $500, but actually, because you're going to make a post on Donors Choose, you may get more money than you need. You may have a bigger ability, and you may actually find out and galvanize other people in your community to be involved. Let me say one more thing. Folks had also given us feedback that they wanted to have access to those fun signs, to those fun hashtag signs, to social media graphics, to other things, so that if they couldn't have it or design it on their own, they could make sure that they could give it to their kids, give it to their students. And so again, if you go to bettermakeroom.org, if you click on College Signing Day and scroll to the bottom, we have all sorts of graphic overlays you can put on your Facebook profile. We have signage that you want to print out. If you want to order t-shirts, if you want to do that, anything you want to do, we probably have it. And honestly, if you think, gosh, we want to go out into our community and make requests of funders and partners, we have sample funder letters and things you can use. So we really wanted to give you a comprehensive set of tools that you can use, no matter what size or scope your signing day is. And again, let me just say that for the purposes of everyone who's watching online, because it's easy to see a picture of Mrs. Obama's signing day last year or read the press release yesterday with MTV and think, well, gosh, we're not going to have Neil Patrick Harris and Jadetta come to our signing day. What are we going to do? And I just want to say there is no wrong or right size for a signing day. Even if you're just a great teacher or counselor and you think, I'm going to do, cake in the auditorium or in the, in the lunchroom for my 30 kids. If you're going to just make it a dress down day and everyone put on their college gear, if you just want everyone to sign a board, I did it, we're reaching higher, you can make it personal and real, and as long as it's a caring adult talking to young people and celebrating them, that's all that really matters. So whatever scope and size, please go online, tell us about it, take those pictures, take those selfies, make sure your students feel celebrated, and we want to see it online. We want hashtag College Signing Day to be the trending topic of conversation on May 5th. But whenever you host yours, post it online, we'll retweet you, we'll celebrate you, and we're proud of you.
Great. Now, you mentioned a lot of great ways that individuals can be involved with this project, but can you kind of elaborate a little more? What can individuals do, school counselors, college access officers, college admission officers, what can they do on an individual level to really help with this project and its goals?
Great. So, number one is, I think for College Signing Day, we are trying to really penetrate and make this a community-wide event. So the first thing you could really do is go onto our site and download that signing day kit and learn. And actually we have really for whether you're working at an elementary school, a middle school, a high school, a college, all the types of things you can do. And that might be a school rally. It might be a community event. Philadelphia on June 7th will be hosting a community-wide College Signing Day rally for the entire community. And I think what's exciting about the different options that you have on size and scope is that it really allows you to tailor and make that college-going culture unique to your community. So schools do things where they'll do a College Signing Day pledge, where they'll have an assembly, and they'll ask everyone to read the pledge, which is, I promise to work hard in school, to keep going, to do my homework, to not give up, to ask for help. Basic things that we know that make sense. But honestly, I've been impressed in seeing how counselors, students, admissions groups want to make it creative and unique to their community. If you're already in college, if you're an admissions counselor on the other side of the street, I think it's really fun to get your community involved and welcome the new college freshmen into your community to celebrate the fact. And that means sometimes sending the mascots to a rally at a high school, or to host an event and welcome students onto your campus, to have a college fair and actually bring freshmen, sophomores, juniors to your campus on signing day to show them this is something you should aspire towards. So there's really no limit to what you can do, and I would encourage people to realize that they can help create create and celebrate that college-going culture, even if they don't think they work in an individual high school.
Great. And I'm a former college admission officer, so I'm challenging all of my colleagues out there to do exactly what Eric said. Had to throw that in there.
For sure. I'm always impressed, universities will actually take that moment, and you'll see their Twitter handles say, like, they'll get the whole college admissions team, they're wearing their gear, they're jumping up and down, they're making something fun and viral, but also getting students and asking, it's not hard to ask a current college student to put on a college shirt. They probably are going to have it anyway. But really saying, have them tell why they're proud or what they like about their school, post that, tag, hashtag college signing day, tag at Reach Higher, at Better Make Room. Because we want college and your college that's being celebrated to be that top of conversation for the day.
Absolutely. So although Mrs. Obama is no longer the First Lady, her Reach Higher initiative and Better Make Room campaign lives on. Can you tell us what is happening now with both of those and what are the next steps?
Great question. You've heard Mrs. Obama say this before she left office, and so it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, but she talked about how she and the president were going to continue to work on these issues for the rest of their lives. Her final speech as First Lady was on January 6th at the School Counselor of the Year ceremony, and you heard Mrs. Obama speak directly to students and say, I'm going to keep working for you, I'm going to keep working on these issues for the rest of my life. And the great news is that our team, the Reach Higher team, has now moved over to Civic Nation, which is a DC nonprofit that works on civic education issues, and our team, the Better Make Room team, we are all now together working hard to continue to advocate for more college access for first-generation low-income kids, to keep giving young people the tools they need to encourage them to get to a post-secondary credential, whether that's a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, a community college, an industry-recognized certificate or credential. Some education to pass high school has to be the goal for every young person. That was true when we were in the White House. That's true now that we're not in the White House. And you're going to continue to see our team advocate for this and Mrs. Obama call for these changes or call for more young people to continue to pursue education. I like to say that she was the school counselor in chief while she was in office, and that's still true today. And we're just really excited and proud to see how she's going to continue to take on this work.
Absolutely. And can you emphasize the goal of Better Make Room?
Yeah. So when we launched Reach Higher in 2014, we were thrilled with the message, with the goal. The president said we want to lead the world again in terms of the percentage of young people with a post-secondary credential. And Ms. Obama took this on. But as we continued to work, we realized that we needed more help as we were continuing to advocate for more and more access and completion for first-generation low-income kids especially. And so actually we went out, we surveyed kids and students on the ground, and we realized that we needed to create a campaign out of Reach Higher that was going to make sure it was talking to young people, but also letting young people talk to one another and use those digital devices, the digital conversation. If you're around a young person these days, you're constantly seeing them on their mobile device. They're tweeting, they're snapping, they're posting, they're on an app that you haven't learned about yet. And we realized that we needed to not just speak down to students and tell them go to college, do all these things self-financially. We wanted students organically from the bottom up to also have a platform where they could create their own messages to one another, where they could celebrate their own educational stories. And that's where Better Make Room came from. It literally means you better make room for the next generation of young people because they're going to do incredible things. So if you go to bettermakeroom.org right now, you'll see incredible stories of young people who are posting those pictures, tagging Better Make Room, and because they do that, they get a Medium post about them on our website. They actually, through our partnership with American Eagle, may see their story up at Times Square. We have worked hard to make sure that student voices are part of this, so we actually now have a Better Make Room Student Advisory Council with high school and college students who have incredible stories of what they've done to pursue their education, and we're continuing to lift them up and also let them be ambassadors in their own community. And lastly, I'd say, there's plenty more I could tell you about what Better Make Room is doing, but we really do understand that with this young generation today, they want to be communicating in real time with one another about what's happening and be part of the conversation and not be talked at. And so Better Make Room helps build that conversation, and we've done fun things like leading to Mrs. Obama debuting her rap career with Saturday Night Live's Jay Pharoah on College Humor, rapping about going to college. We now have a texting service called Up Next, where students can receive free text messages from Mrs. Obama and others that gives them those little nudges about filling out financial aid, applying to college, getting free SAT, ACT tutoring. Things are going to make a difference for a young person at the margin. So we're going to keep on going, and make sure you're following us on at Better Make Room at Twitter and Instagram, at Reach Higher at Twitter, and at Reach Higher 2020 on Instagram. You can keep hearing about our stories, the young people who are doing incredible things.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So now I want to move into, with the formation of the Council of National School Counseling and College Access Organizations, which was an outgrowth of Mrs. Obama's Reach Higher initiative. How can associations help keep the momentum going?
Absolutely. It's critical that we not stop, because as we know, while we're seeing really promising trends about more students applying to and attending college, we know that the goal has to be completion, and especially for our most vulnerable students. So it's critical to have coalitions that NACAC is helping us lead, and really, because of Mrs. Obama's work, answered her call and said, we want to bring people together and work in a consolidated basis to advocate and to help share evidence-based practices, really scale what's working. And what I would say is, please reach out to us. We are now, I'll give you our new email address. You can reach us at reachhigher@civicnation.org. That's reachhigher@civicnation.org. We want you to be a listed partner. We want you to come to our convenings. We are still hosting, dozens of states. We actually have 38 states that have convened and are working hard and committed to the principles of the counseling community that you've talked about. This community helped us bring together states actually last fall here at American University, and we held the summit, and we're continuing to talk about how we can build those bridges between K-12 and higher ed. But we need more communities. We need more community members coming out to us and partnering, and we want you to be a part of it. So please reach out to us. Reach us at reachhigher@civicnation.org, because we'd like to list you as a partner. We'd like to create more dynamic partnerships. And I will say, now that we are out of the federal government, we have more freedom. Civic Nation is a nonprofit, and it's easier for us to figure out how to really create and establish partnerships in a way that was sometimes more difficult to do it from the White House.
Great, thank you. I think I want to jump to see if we have any questions first. Okay, so no questions yet, but I do want to ask you, Eric, can you tell us about your path to higher education and your work with your school counselor, all of that?
Yeah, thank you so much. I grew up in a family, and I was the youngest, but we were not a family that actually did the big college tour. I only probably saw 2 colleges before I ended up applying, the 2 colleges my brothers went to. So one brother went to Ohio State, one brother went to Cornell, and those were the only 2 schools I'd visited before I applied anywhere. So it was really, I had an English teacher who really encouraged me, and in many ways was someone I looked up to, and he helped me think about where I wanted to apply to college. And so when I was going through that process, I ended up applying also to Brown University, because my older brother Richard, who went to Cornell, said, I think you'd enjoy it there. And I hadn't visited the campus. I just had a brochure I think that he had, and I applied. And I did what was early action at the time. I don't know what the new, if they still do that.
Non-binding.
It was non-binding.
Yep, early action.
So I got it in December, and I didn't visit the campus until after I got in, and I thought it was beautiful, and I talked to students, and they really loved it there. And so for me, it was, once I got there, seemed like really exciting people who were excited about learning, and that, again, I'm sure I would have been happy wherever I'd gone, but that really put me on a path where I was pursuing things I was passionate about. Where I eventually got to where I am today is that my last semester in college, I took a history of American education class with a professor named Carl Kasel. And I loved that class, and I learned about the Common School movement and Horace Mann, and the fact that Horace Mann, in the 1850s, essentially said, he already then understood that education was this indispensable, human right, was something that he called it the great balance wheel of the social machinery, the great equalizer, and that really affected me. And so when I graduated, I had a TA from that class who encouraged me to teach, and I taught that summer at a summer bridge program in Providence, Rhode Island, teaching 6th and 7th graders, and then I eventually ended up getting my master's in education before going to law school. And really, I like to say I'm one of the few people in America who is doing the thing I said I wanted to do in my law school application essay. I'm working on education policy, and I'm so proud to be fortunate enough to have mentors and friends like Arnie Duncan and Mrs. Obama who've helped me now reach more and more young people. But college helped me realize my dreams and more education, and Mrs. Obama importantly talks about how as a first-generation student it changed her life, and there are just so many young people out there who have that potential, and education can help set them free. So we're excited I don't feel bad encouraging people to pursue their education.
That's great advice, and that's a wonderful story, so thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Checking in to see if we have any questions. No questions, so I think at this point we're going to wrap things up. But just to reiterate what Eric said, to keep the momentum going, make sure that you all are getting involved with the communities, your schools. We definitely want to see a great big turnout for College Signing Day coming up on May 5th. So make sure you also go to reachhigher.org.
No, bettermakeroom.org. Go to bettermakeroom.org. Go click on College Signing Day and learn more. You can download our kit, register your event. Go and ask for those extra dollars. We want to make sure we have, I think, around $50,000 we still have to give out of the $100,000. So please sign up. We're excited. And I'll say a little bit more, but I think we might have a question.
Sure. So I think you might have just answered this, but Tony would like to know, what's the best way to connect our partners on the high school side to information about Signing Day, microgrants, or other initiatives and opportunities that may be available to them?
Great. So the question was, from Tony online, how do we connect our partners with information about these microgrants and how to get involved on the College Signing Day? Again, go to bettermakeroom.org, click on Signing Day, and then you'll scroll down. We have a Signing Day kit you can download. You can register your event. You can download all of the partnership letters, the graphics, everything. But in that College Signing Day kit, it talks about how you can apply for the $500. The most important thing is that when you do so and create that Donor Choose account, please make sure you're tagging #College Signing Day. You can tweet about it after you've created your application. Tag us at Reach Higher, at Better Make Room, and we'll make sure we see it, and that'll make sure that you'll have the opportunity to be eligible for those dollars.
Great. So I think those are all the questions that we have for today. So thank you again for being here. We really appreciate your time spending with us, and thank you all for joining us today. So get ready for our #College Signing Day.
We're ready. We're ready. May 5th, we're there. Make sure you tune in also online to MTV's Facebook account on Friday, May 5th. You can watch Mrs. Obama celebrate with 200 students in Harlem. But we're so excited for your partnership, your friendship, and what you're going to do with young people on College Signing Day, whether it's May 5th or some other day that works for your team and school. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, there's one more.
Oh, we got one more question.
Okay.
Facebook Live.
We're keeping this going. What's the question?
Because we're live, we can do this. It's great.
All right, how can we get more involved how can we get more community organizations involved?
So the question was, how can we get more community organizations involved? So again, that was one of the pieces of feedback we received in previous years. If you go to bettermakeroom.org and click on Signing Day, when you scroll to the bottom, one of the things we have is a partnership deck and a funder deck, because we know that actually this is a great excuse for all of you to be able to say, Mrs. Obama, the former First Lady, wants us, is asking me to be part of her movement and wants us to host these signing days to build college-going culture. Look at these other 1,000 events happening around the country in all 50 states. Doesn't our school want to be involved? So whether you're asking a mayor, whether you're asking a council person, whether you're asking a local sports team or a local business, that's how you can approach it and say you're part of a larger organization and team and field. If you look into the College Signing Day kit, we actually have a letter from Mrs. Obama. There's also a hyperlink to a video from her. So you can really share and make sure folks understand that this is part of a larger movement. So you're saying, look, there are 1,000 events in all 50 states. We want our community to join Mrs. Obama's movement, but we need help. And actually, it's great to have a local business that's going to help contribute, to have a local college that's going to bring current, college students to campus, or to think they're going to sponsor the space, the food, the catering, whatever you want to do, size and scope. But also, I think it's really important to realize that the reason you want to get local businesses or communities involved is because they can bring members and say, we are proud of you and we want you to stay in this community, but we want you to get your education so you can come back and work in our business. I'm from Cleveland. I always say, Cleveland needs to work on how we make sure we're creating that ecosystem. So when someone graduates from John Hay High School in Cleveland, they know that if they go to Cleveland State, if they go to John Carroll, if they go to OSU, that there's going to be a great job for them at university hospitals, at KeyBank, or at somewhere in their community. So if when they hear for their entire educational career that someone was talking to them about there's a job for you if you're pursuing these careers, they hear someone from a local business talk about how education set them free and gave them opportunities, that helps them create that story in their own personal narrative to understand how getting an education is going to improve their lives. And that's what you can do, and building those community member connections is going to help you be more persuasive with your students in your life and community.
Great. I feel like I should pause for one more second just to see if another question pops in.
I don't think so. I think that was it.
All right. All
Great.
right. So I think we're going to wrap this up for
Thank
real
you.
this time.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.